Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Always trust everyone to be themselves, but trust in the fact that you can see them well. I mean, so it's like, trust. It takes too much energy to not trust someone. I mean, it takes too much energy. You always gotta stay 2 steps ahead of them or whatever. Right. But trust them to be them.
Right. To be themselves.
Trust the snake to bite you. Right. Trust the lion to lie. Trust the thief to steal from you. Like, trust them to be them. Too. But know them when you see them.
Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. This evening, I want to delve into the root of our behavior, because to me, it's all about our people. So I need to show our people the root of our behavior. And I want to speak about the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. And the question is, was the letter real? Now, some of our people, we question whether the letter is real or not. And if you look at the behavior that is displayed by our people, we have to question whether the letter is real. Peace to my brother Voodoo Child, my brother D. Allen Warren, my brother Dangerous, my brother Big Dog Philly OG, and my brother Brown's Flat Power God. Now, I don't know how many of us are familiar with the infamous Willie Lynch letter. It's a letter that has been debunked while being effective. It is a letter that people have argued about time and time again, while again being effective. Some have said that the letter is fake while being reinforced this day, this minute, right now. If the Willie Lynch letter is fake while being so effective on the people for so long, this makes us out to be a very dumb and gullible people, or the most gullible people on this planet. Peace to my brother Talk You Talk Media, my brother Greedy Vegan. Now, whoever started the narrative that the letter is fake, that's a good question. Yet, that's a brilliant person and wickedly wise person, because a lot of us bought it hook, line, and sinker that the letter is fake, knowing that the root of a problem lies your answers and your solutions, because it is the root of a lot of our problems. And it's once we realize what the root of our problem is, we can solve our problems. But if someone tells us that the letter is fake and our condition is some, fake myth, we don't have the ability to solve our problems. See, the Willie Lynch letter tells us why we behave the way we do. The diagnosis is real, yet some deny their sickness. the effectiveness of the Willie Lynch letter. If we take every point of the letter and then look at ourselves with a very critical eye, we can solve most of our problems. Denying our sickness is not going to work. Problems have to be solved. They're not going to go away because it affects an entire nation of people. Beautiful people who are mocked and admired at the same time. We are mocked and admired at the same time because we can go 10,000 miles and see other people of different ethnicities acting, dressing, behaving, and talking like us, especially in genres of music. You know, we are mocked by them while we absolutely hate being ourselves. Salute to my brother Dre Kyle's music. The letter is fake, to some of us, but absolutely 100% effective down to the letter. Can you imagine that? A letter that's fake, but it's effective down to the letter. A fake letter could cause us to be in our ignorance, some of us, the way we are. Now, we are a effortlessly brilliant people while exploiting and reinforcing our ignorance in competition while advocating for our people when we should be working together. Not wanting to be a solo act as if we're in show business, showing our business in our ignorance before the world. Now, our unity is more powerful than any weapon our enemy can use against us. Personally, I don't think the letter is fake. I think the letter is real in real time. Now, we're going to look at the letter and the points made and self-examine ourselves with truth. Let's look at ourselves with a critical analysis, recognizing a problem is the only way we can solve them, and why we behave the way we behave. Now, some of us do it not knowing what the problem is, but for some apparent reason, it's always one of us who want to shine above the rest of us. Nagajini, salute, good brother, peace. Instead of working with each other, one of us wants to be the star. Peace to my brother, my big brother, Kenneth Tinley. You know, I grew up with him. That's my big brother. Peace to him. Thanks for tapping in. Now, a star who thinks that he or she has risen above the condition of our people, which is impossible. I always say star spelled backwards is rats. When we see that behavior displayed, behold, we have a rat among us. If we are to change our condition, there will be no solo acts. We must act as a people on behalf of our people. We must not ignore the obvious or the ambiguous of our conditions. With all we see and experience, some of us still don't believe we have an open and consistent enemy who has a system in place for them and against us. We like to blame the system and not point out who benefits from the system. An excuse to not identify the culprits. Some of them look like us, but most of them don't. But let's concentrate on us, because we let differences in ideology and spirituality deter us from working together. Now, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just going to go over the letter or the speech that was given by Willie Lynch to the slave owners that, some of us deny existed. But we still, some of us would deny that the Willie Lynch letter is real or deny slavery existed while having a slave mentality and reinforcing what that letter said. So either it was real or it was fake. But we're going to read the letter, and I'm going to point out some of the things that we go through and we reinforce today that is consistent with this letter. Now, this is the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. Could everybody see this? Put a 1 in the chat if you can see this. As a matter of fact, you can't see it, so I have to go in and remove this. Give me 1 second, brothers and sisters. Give me 1 second. Let me remove this. Now, we should be able to see it now. Now, this is the Willie Lynch letter that I'm going to read off from Willie Lynch. Let's make a slave. Cardinal principles for making a Negro. The breaking process of the African woman, the Negro marriage. And the warning, possible interloping negative and controlled language. All of this is consistent with what happens today. This speech was said to have been delivered by Willie Lynch on the bank of the James River in the colony of Virginia in 1712. Lynch was a British slave owner in the West Indies. He was invited to the colony of Virginia in 1712 to teach his methods to slave owners. Where he says, give me 1 second. He says, greetings, gentlemen. I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord. I'm gonna stop there for a second. So much was done in the name of their Lord. A lot of these men who committed this wickedness were devout Christians and what we would call a Bible thumper today. That's what they were. Now, I'm going to go back. I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord, 1712. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves, because we didn't just lay down. There was hundreds of revolts to the point that they just said, we can't have these people as slaves. Now, your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still the oldest methods for control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sails south of the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish. All of this done in the name of Jesus. I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood and crosses for standing human bodies along its highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the rope on occasions. I caught the width of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are not only losing valuable stock by hangings, you are having uprising. Slaves are running away. Your crops are sometime left in the field too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am here to enumerate your problems. I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. And then he went into his bag. Peace to my brother, Keith Norfolk. Salute to you. Thanks for tapping in. He went into his bag. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. Now, that overseer, the brother KRS once said, overseer, officer. Same thing. That's what KRS once said. And that's what the term head nigga in charge came from. And that's what the word trustee came from. Some of these niggas are so broken and butt broken that they can be trusted to be the head nigga in charge while the so-called slave master leave and go somewhere. Now, I have outlined a number of differences among them, the slaves, and I take the differences and make them bigger, meaning exploit them. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my mileage plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take the simplest little list of differences and think about them. On top of my on top of my list is age. But it's there only because it starts with the letter A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, sex, size, sizes of plantations, status on plantations, attitude of owners, whether the slave live in a valley or on a hill, east, west, north, south. We see that all the time. East Coast versus the West Coast, South versus up north. We see that all the time. Now, fine hair, coarse hair, or is it tall or short? Now that I have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling, meaning the system will work by itself if it's implemented. And we don't realize that the system is working by itself. And some of us don't even realize why we behave the way we behave, because the system is working, and we deny that this letter is real, while a lot of us, not nobody here, but a lot of us, our people, reinforce the exact thing that Willie Lynch is describing. Now, The black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling, self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male. And the young black male versus the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slave versus the light-skinned slave, the light-skinned slave versus the dark-skinned slave. You must use the female versus the male and the male versus the female. If we don't see that going on today, the age gap and the gender wars that's going on among our people, we're not paying attention if we don't see that. Now, you also must have white servants and overseers who distrust all blacks. But it's necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must not love, respect, and trust. They must love, respect, and only trust us. That's what they say. We must not have them trusting each other. It's necessary that your slaves trust and depend only on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us, gentlemen. These kits are at your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and your children. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. And then he thanked them. Now, you ever have those of us who work, or we can see it, we see it all the time on the Karens or the Kens or whatever you want to call them. They feel compelled to walk up to us, ask us where we're going, ask us what we're doing, get in our business. That's the mentality that they have. And that comes down. It trickles down. It's in their DNA to behave that way. It's in their very nature to think that they could treat us like they own us. It's in their very nature to walk up to us. And not only that, the origin of police it wasn't just policy enforcers. They were catching runaway slaves. I know people want to deny I wasn't no slave. No, you wasn't. It's not even written that your family was. But if you look at some of our behaviors, it came from somewhere. If you look at how some of these Negroes behave, I put a post in the community earlier, and I'm going to read it. This is what I posted in the community earlier. Now, I put the Negro nigger mentality has been our inner enemy that has served to our very detriment. Our so-called leaders call for the banning of such words, nigger and Negro. They ask, how can we get rid of the N-word? My answer was, just look inward. Look in yourself and get rid of the N-word. In order to get rid of the N-word, you got to look inward. But some of us think being a nigger and a Negro is a good thing when it's not. Now, I want to, at this moment, because I know the comrades have something to say about this. Someone will put the link in the chat. And invite, some family up. And if you like, we can have this discussion. But our mentality came from somewhere. We can't deny our sickness, and we can't deny where our sickness came from. And we can't deny who the culprits are. We can't blame it on the system and not deal with who the system benefits. That right there is what the young people will call cap. I don't know whether it's a snapback or fitted, but it's a damn cap. You can't tell us, you can't tell me that while I see people reinforcing the Willie Lynch letter, everything that letter consists of, I see among our people. We can't even get together and discuss and gather solutions to our problems. A lot of us know what the problems are, and we can't even work together to solve our problems. That is problematic itself. If you can't work together to solve your own problems as a people, who's going to solve our problem? There's no one benevolent outside of us going to solve our problems. It's going to take us because it's our problem. Yet with freedom comes great responsibility. Now, what I'm going to do is take a word from my sponsor. I'm going to have a word from my sponsor.
The once goal-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. A rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise.
If you haven't read my wife's book, Fire, you can get it on Amazon, on paperback, or Kindle. It's a very good read. And soon, Fire 2, the finale will be out. She's currently writing it now. She works hard on her book. She gives a lot of consideration. I mean, it's been editing back and forth. She erased this and she changed this. She does all the editing and everything on her own. And she's currently writing the finale now. If you have, I want to put the link in the chat for the book Fire. You can get it from Amazon, paperback, or Kindle. Very good book. Give me 1 second. And I'll have it in the chat soon. I'm not a typist. Bear with me. That's the link for the book. For the book Fire. Now, I see a lot of our brothers and our sisters will debate certain things that's going on in our community. We'll debate the problem, but we'll never get to what the solutions are of that problem. And when we debate, we don't even argue in the best of manner. Yet what we should be doing is setting up a team of debaters and debate those who lie on us constantly on a daily basis. Peace to my brother Warfare K. That's what we should be doing. We should debate those who lie on us on a daily basis. Now, back in the 60s, the 50s and the 60s, Messenger Muhammad used to send Malcolm out and he'll debate Harvard scholars, Princeton, Yale. He'll debate them. Now, you have a man who only went to the 8th grade, Malcolm. He went into those colleges and he handcuffed them. They couldn't deal with an 8th grader who was taught by a 4th grader. Messenger Muhammad only completed the 3rd grade, went to the 4th grade. And he taught Malcolm, an 8th grader, and went into the colleges, and they couldn't deal with him. That's what we should be doing. We shouldn't be debating each other. And it's really not debate, because a lot of our brothers, we only do it to undermine each other. That's all we do. We want to undermine each other and what they call cook somebody, when we should be cooking together. You know what I call it. You know what I call it. Intellectual masturbation. That's what it is, because a lot of the brothers, they get off on making a brother look bad on a platform. And that's a part of what the letter described. It's, exploiting those little bitty things that Willie Lynch described. Light skin versus dark skin versus light skin, the valley and hill. When I was growing up, I lived in a 5 mile by 5 mile city. And cats, if they got caught in the wrong side of town, these are brothers and sisters, they got caught in the wrong side of town, something happened to them. Salute, peace to my brother, Mr. West. Thanks for tapping in. They got caught on the wrong side of town, something happened to them. That's the valley and the hill thing. And when we get a little more than our brother or our sister have, when we get a little more than them, we think we're better than our other brothers and sisters, and we think we have risen above the condition of our people. You can never rise above the condition of your people. Whatever condition your people is in, that's your condition too. I don't care how much money you have, because if we don't empower ourselves as a people, they could put you back there. And guess what? If you do go back there, you can't come back to us. You can't come back among us, because the way you behaved when you wasn't among us. The first thing we want to do is move where we don't want to be at. Now, we can take, if we're in our right state of mind, and make our communities just as beautiful as those other communities. Instead of moving to those communities, why can't we make the community we came from look like those communities? We want a nice community. Because it's a reason why our enemy moved by the sea to get away from you and me. It's a reason why they moved down to the shore, because they don't want to be around us. And a lot of us think that we have risen just to live next door to one of them. And that was the root of the young brother who got killed, the airman. That was the root of that. They didn't want him around. That's the root of all of that. They didn't want the brother around. So somebody called the police, and there you have it. But our communities can be anything we want it to be, but we have to set up everything that consists of being a community in a neighborhood. We got to secure it. Because you know what happens when people see us with nice things. No matter how hard we work for it, we don't deserve it. And some of us share that same sentiment. We look at each other when each other have something nice, as if we don't deserve it. No matter how hard the brother or the sister worked for it, we look at them crazy for having it. And some of us, I'm going to go there with this, because some of us think that when we go into a store and we buy something from a store, we don't even question the people who are selling it to us. We don't question them. As a matter of fact, we want to brag about how much it costs, except if one of us is selling it to you. That's a big problem. We don't want to peel off that kind of money and buy something from our own brother and sister. We'd rather go to the Arabs. We'd rather go to the Asians. We'd rather go to the Italians and others to buy something expensive. That's problematic. And we think the only people that supposed to get money from us are the aforementioned. It's always suspicious when one of us asks for money. He or she is scamming. That's always the narrative. We don't trust each other. Some of us are scamming. Some of us have scammed. But that's not the mindset of all of our people. All of our people don't scam. Yet the distrust in each other is one of the very things that's reinforced on the Willie Lynch letter, the making of a slave. A lot of us have the main mentality of a slave, because we think the only people are supposed to profit off us or others. If Mr. West is selling shoes, Warfare K is selling shirts. Voodoo Child is selling suits. I'm supposed to be set up by those three brothers. That's who I'm supposed to get it from. If the brother's selling stuff and it's right and exact, I'm supposed to get it from him. If one of the sisters in the chat selling hats, I'm supposed to get it from her. But we think the only people are supposed to get money from us and profit from us is other people. We don't support each other. Again, it's in the letter. Trust only them. So, in my experience in being on social media, especially YouTube, according to us, everybody who ever stood before us is a sellout. Can't be trusted. We can find something wrong with everybody who ever stood and acted on our behalf. We can find something wrong. That's the distrust that we have for each other. Yet some of us don't want to talk about our sickness, want to remain sick, don't want to admit that our behavior towards each other is sick. That's why we remain in our condition, and we will remain in our condition. No one outside of ourselves is going to change our condition. No one. If we don't want to have a conversation, if we don't want to discuss what our problems are and discuss solutions, our problems going to remain. We have many problems, a whole lot of problems. Self-hate is one of them. Because if you look at your brother or your sister and you hate them, you hate your damn self. If that brother or sister did nothing to you, you hate yourself. You look at them and you see your brother and your sister through the eyes of your enemy. The same way others look at your enemy, look at your brother and sister, you see them that same way. So you're looking at them through the eyes of your enemy. And that's most case scenario when it comes to our people. It's going to cost us, and it has cost us, and it's costing us. Why do you think people would do what they do to us and don't have no fear of a consequence? Why? Because they know there's no consequence because we're not together like we should be. That's why they would. If you see someone will come through and they will snatch one of our children or they'll smack up one of our women, they're not afraid of us. And they have no reason to be afraid of us. They claim they are, but they're not afraid of us because they do too many things that violate us to be afraid of us. All we have to do is look at the problem, identify the problem. But some of us won't think the problem's going to go away. It's not. I don't care how you self-medicate. When your high come down or your damn intoxication come down, your problem going to remain because your problem will have to be solved. I've never been high in my life. My whole entire life, I've never been high. We are in a sad state. If we don't realize that we need our own people. We need each other. We don't realize that it's going to take us. Somebody wise talked to me today. A wise person, very wise person talked to me today when I was discussing about, doing this. And she said, niggas is going to be niggas. And she told me that it was painful, obviously, that we can't do nothing with niggas and about niggas because they're going to be niggas. And it's going to take them to get a damn whipping in order for them to realize that they got to get up and do something about their own condition. And those was wise words spoken. I'm going to leave it right there. I've been planning to go a long time. I thank everybody for tapping in, joining me this evening. Yeah, we need to consider what was said, and we need to consider our sickness and what we need to do to get ourselves out the condition that we're in. It's our condition. It's our responsibility. No one else's. Thank all the brothers and sisters for tapping in. This is your brother Nasir. Peace to the sister, the true daughter of darkness. Thanks for tapping in, sis. I appreciate it. This is your brother Nasir. This is the enemy's public. Peace.
Always trust everyone to be themselves, but trust in the fact that you can see them well. I mean, so it's like, trust. It takes too much energy to not trust someone. I mean, it takes too much energy. You always got to stay 2 steps ahead of them or whatever.
Right.
But trust them to beat them.
Right. To beat themselves.
Trust the snake to bite you.
Right.
Trust the lion to laugh. Trust the thief to steal from you. Like, trust them to beat them. But know them when you see them.